Have you ever felt like you're living in a paradox? One day she's showering you with love, talking about your future together, and the next, it's like you don't even exist to her. Frustrating, isn't it? It's almost as if she's testing you, pulling back just to see how you react. Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that's both confusing and common. Why does she love you deeply, yet ignore you so frequently? If you've been in a situation where her words and actions are in constant contradiction, this video is for you. We'll unpack the psychology behind this behavior and how you can respond with the calm, unshakable mindset of a Stoic. Ready to break through the mixed signals? Let's get into it. Number 1. A misalignment of expectations. How can someone who loves you so much seem so distant, so unresponsive at times? You might find yourself questioning her love, or even your entire relationship. But before you spiral into doubt, let's explore a possibility you might not have considered. It could be a difference in the way you both express love, a clash of love languages. For example, you're someone who values verbal affirmations. For you, love feels real when she says, "I miss you," or when she sends sweet messages throughout the day. These little check-ins give you a sense of connection and reassurance. But for her, love is different. Maybe she doesn't see the need to send texts all day because her love language is more about acts of service. She might be the type who shows her love by planning a thoughtful date, cooking your favorite meal, or doing something nice for you without expecting praise. When your love languages don't align, it's easy to misinterpret her silence as neglect or indifference, when in reality, she's simply speaking a different dialect of love. Let's say it's a typical day. You send her a good morning text, hoping for a cute reply, but hours go by with nothing. Meanwhile, she's at the grocery store, picking up your favorite snacks for a movie night she's planned for the weekend. In her mind, she's thinking about you all day, showing her affection through thoughtful gestures. But in your mind, her silence feels like a rejection. You're left feeling ignored, while she feels like she's expressing her love in a tangible, meaningful way. We often fall into the trap of expecting our partner to love us in the exact way we want. If you're someone who thrives on frequent communication, you might expect her to mirror that. But expectation is a double-edged sword. When she doesn't meet your exact needs, it's easy to feel unloved or ignored. This is where practicing Stoicism can change the game. Epictetus taught us, it's not things themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. Instead of interpreting her silence as disinterest, try to see it for what it really is, simply a different way of loving. Think of love languages as a bridge. You're standing on one side, speaking your language of verbal affirmations, while she's on the other side, showing love through actions. If neither of you is willing to cross the bridge, you'll stay disconnected. But if you both take a step toward each other, meeting halfway, you'll find a deeper understanding and connection. Next time she seems distant, instead of reacting with frustration, try a different approach. Ask her about her day and notice the little things she's done for you. Maybe she's been thinking about you all along, just not in the way you expected. Remember, relationships are about growth and understanding, not control or perfection. When you can embrace her love language instead of resisting it, you not only strengthen your bond, but also find a deeper sense of peace within yourself. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom in relationships. Focus on what you can control, your own thoughts and responses, while letting go of the need to mold her into your ideal image. Number 2, valuing convenience over connection. In today's fast-paced world, many people prioritize their own comfort and convenience over the emotional labor of building a real relationship. If she's used to having everything on her terms, she might reach out when she's lonely, bored, or needs something from you. But when it's your turn to seek her time, she's suddenly too busy or uninterested. It's not necessarily malicious. Sometimes it's a sign that she's just not as invested as you are. She enjoys the attention and support you provide, but isn't willing to put in the effort to nurture a true, reciprocal bond. Think back to a time when she reached out with a sweet message, asking how your day was. You felt special, like she was genuinely interested in your life. But then, when you tried to make plans for the weekend, she either ignored your text or gave you a vague response like, "I'll let you know," and never followed up. This cycle might have repeated itself several times. She's warm and engaging when it suits her, but distant when you need her to be consistent. It feels like she's only half in, valuing the convenience of your availability without truly investing in a deeper connection. It's easy to get caught up in trying to explain yourself to her, to show her how much effort you're putting in and why it's worth it for her to do the same. But Epictetus offers a powerful piece of advice. Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Instead of trying to convince her of your worth or explain why she should value the connection, live by your own standards. Show her through your actions that you respect yourself enough to walk away if her priorities don't align with yours. This doesn't mean you need to be cold or cut her off without explanation. It means standing firm in your own values and deciding what kind of relationship you want. If you're looking for depth, consistency, and genuine effort, don't settle for someone who only gives you crumbs when it's convenient. The key to dealing with a situation like this is setting clear boundaries without getting pulled into a cycle of resentment or frustration. If she only reaches out on her terms and isn't willing to meet you halfway, it's time to have an honest conversation with yourself about what you're willing to accept. Don't chase after someone who only values you when it's easy for them. Instead, focus on your own standards and stick to them. When you start living by your own philosophy instead of trying to explain it, you send a clear message, not just to her, but to yourself. You're showing that you're not willing to settle for a relationship built on convenience. You want a true partnership, one where both people put in the effort and show up consistently. By embodying this value, you naturally filter out those who aren't aligned with your vision of a healthy relationship. In the end, relationships are about more than just convenience. They're about showing up for each other, even when it's not easy or perfectly timed. If you find yourself in a situation where she only reaches out when it suits her, take a step back and reflect on what you truly want. Live by your values, set clear boundaries, and respect yourself enough to walk away if her actions don't align with your vision of a healthy relationship. Remember Epictetus's advice. Don't just speak your philosophy, embody it. Be the person who values genuine connection over fleeting moments of convenience. When you live this way, you naturally attract partners who share your priorities and are willing to put in the same level of effort. And that's the kind of relationship worth holding out for. Before we move on to the next point, let's take a quick moment. If you've ever found yourself caught in a cycle where someone only values you when it's convenient for them, you're not alone. It's a tough realization, but it's also an opportunity for growth. Now, I'd love to hear your experiences. Have you been in a relationship where you felt like an option instead of a priority? Share your thoughts in the comments, or simply type, "I deserve consistency," if you're committed to valuing genuine connection over convenience. Your support and stories make a big difference. Number 3. testing your commitment. This might sound manipulative, but it's not always about playing games. For many women, especially those who have been hurt before, creating a bit of distance can be a way of seeking reassurance. It's her way of figuring out if you're genuinely invested, or if you'll disappear at the first sign of trouble. In her mind, if you truly care, you'll stay consistent, even when she's not giving you the attention you crave. Before you jump to conclusions or get frustrated, consider what might be driving her behavior. Maybe she's been hurt in the past by someone who promised to stay but left when things got tough. Or perhaps she's dealing with insecurities about whether your feelings are as deep as hers. In moments of doubt, instead of confronting you directly, she might choose a different path, pulling back and observing your reaction. Will you chase after her, showing that you care? Or will you pull away as well, confirming her worst fears? Let's say you've been dating for a few months and everything seems to be going well. Then, out of the blue, she becomes distant. You notice she's taking longer to respond to your messages, and she's less eager to make plans. It feels like she's testing you, and in a way, she is. She might be asking herself, will he still be there if I stop putting in so much effort? Is his interest genuine, or is he just here for the easy parts? Her silence isn't about losing interest. It's about seeing if you'll remain steady even when the relationship hits a rough patch. In moments like these, it's tempting to react emotionally, to send multiple texts asking if something's wrong, or to demand an explanation for her sudden change in behavior. But Marcus Aurelius offers us a powerful reminder. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. While she's not your enemy, the principle still applies. Instead of mirroring her withdrawal or reacting with frustration, remain calm and assured. Your steady presence and consistent behavior are the best responses. It shows her that you're not easily swayed by the ups and downs, and that your commitment isn't based on temporary emotions. One of the most reassuring things you can offer her during this testing phase is consistency. It's easy to be present when everything is going well, but it's your steady presence during uncertain times that truly shows your commitment. This doesn't mean you have to chase after her or sacrifice your own needs to prove your love. It means showing up in small, meaningful ways. Sending her a good morning message even if she hasn't been as responsive, or continuing to make plans without pressure or expectation. Suppose she's been distant for a week and you're starting to feel discouraged. Instead of pulling away yourself or questioning the relationship, you decide to stay consistent. You send her a message like, "I've missed talking to you this week. I hope everything is okay. I'm here if you want to chat." Then you go about your day, focusing on your own life while leaving the door open for her to reach out when she's ready. This kind of calm, balanced approach shows her that you're not easily swayed by her tests. You're here because you genuinely care, not because you need constant reassurance. In the end, her testing your commitment isn't about trying to manipulate you or play games. It's often rooted in her own insecurities and a need for reassurance. By staying calm, consistent, and true to yourself, you show her that your love isn't conditional or based on fleeting emotions. You prove that you're not here for the easy parts only. You're here for the real, messy, complicated journey of building a relationship. If she values you, she'll see the strength in your patience and the security in your steady presence. And when she's ready, she'll come back, not because you chased her, but because you showed her that you're the calm in the storm, the constant she's been searching for. Number 4, avoidance of vulnerability. For many women, opening up emotionally can feel like stepping onto thin ice. If she's been hurt before, whether it was by a betrayal, a breakup, or a painful disappointment. She might instinctively build walls to protect herself. Her ignoring you isn't a sign that she's lost interest or stopped caring. It's a defense mechanism, a way of guarding her heart against potential pain. To understand why she might pull away, imagine a scenario where she's been let down in the past. Perhaps she trusted someone who promised to be there but left when she needed them the most. Or maybe she shared her deepest fears and dreams with someone, only to have that trust broken. These experiences leave scars that make vulnerability feel terrifying. So, when she starts to feel herself opening up to you, her instinct might be to retreat. Her silence is her way of saying, "I'm afraid of getting hurt again." Think back to a time when you were having a deep, meaningful conversation with her. Maybe she started sharing something personal, a story about her past, or a fear she's been carrying. You felt closer than ever, but then something shifted. She became distant afterward, didn't reply as quickly, or seemed less interested in connecting. It's not that she regretted opening up, it's that she's now dealing with the fear that comes with being exposed. Vulnerability is like handing someone a delicate piece of your heart, and for her, that's a risk she's still learning to take. In these moments, it's easy to feel frustrated or take her withdrawal personally. You might think, why is she shutting me out when I'm just trying to get closer? But Epictetus offers a crucial piece of wisdom. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Decide what kind of partner you want to be. The kind who demands constant openness, or the kind who provides a safe, supportive space where she feels comfortable lowering her guard on her own terms. Instead of pushing her to be vulnerable or questioning her silence, be patient. Show her through your actions that you're not here to rush her healing or force her into emotional exposure. You're here to listen, to understand, and to support her, even if it takes time for her to fully trust you. Instead of trying to fix her or solve her emotional struggles, focus on maintaining your own inner peace. Engage in activities that bring you joy and fulfillment, and continue building your own life outside of the relationship. This not only helps you stay balanced, but it also shows her that you're secure enough to give her space without becoming insecure yourself. Seneca once said, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." In relationships, it's crucial to know what kind of partner you want to be and to act in accordance with that vision. If you want to be a supportive, understanding partner, then practice patience, even when it's hard. Accept that vulnerability takes time, especially for someone who has been hurt before. Embrace the uncertainty and trust that if your bond is real, it will withstand the periods of silence and distance. So the next time she seems distant, don't take it personally. Don't rush to fix or change the situation. Instead, be the calm in her storm. Show her that you're not afraid of her walls and that you're willing to stay, patiently waiting until she feels safe enough to let you in. This kind of love, steady, patient, and grounded, is the kind that breaks through even the toughest defenses. And when she finally does open up, it will be because she knows she's found a partner who doesn't just want access to her heart, but is willing to earn it, slowly and respectfully. If this resonates with you, remember that your experiences matter too. We all have moments when we've felt that pullback, that sudden silence that left us questioning what went wrong. But it's in these vulnerable spaces that true understanding and connection can flourish. Have you been in a similar situation where you felt her distance, or maybe you've been the one building walls yourself? Share your story in the comments below. Let's support each other in navigating these emotional waters with patience and empathy. Your insights could be just what someone else needs to hear today. Number 5. The push-pull dynamic. Emotions can be overwhelming, especially when they're intense and all-consuming. For some women, the deeper they fall in love, the more they feel the need to step back and catch their breath. It's not because they don't want the relationship, but because the feelings are so powerful that they need time to reflect and make sure they're not losing themselves in the process. It's like standing on the edge of a cliff, looking down at the vast, unknown depths below. It's thrilling, but also a bit terrifying. Imagine you've just shared an amazing weekend together. You felt incredibly close, connected in a way that seemed unbreakable. But as the week begins, she suddenly becomes distant. She doesn't text as often, and when she does, her responses are short and unenthusiastic. You start to panic, thinking, "Did I do something wrong? Did I scare her away?" But what's really happening is that she's overwhelmed by the intensity of the connection. She's pulled back, not because she doesn't care, but because she needs time to reflect on what she's feeling. This is where Stoic wisdom can guide you through the uncertainty. Seneca once said, "It is the power of the mind to be unconquerable." In other words, your peace and sense of self should not be dictated by the shifting emotions of others. Her pulling back might trigger your insecurities, but this is an opportunity to strengthen your own inner resilience. Instead of reacting with fear or anxiety, use this time to focus on yourself, grounding your emotions and finding stability within. Relationships, like the ocean, have tides. They flow in and out, bringing moments of intense closeness and periods of distance. The key is not to panic during the low tide. Marcus Aurelius teaches us to accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny. Embrace the push-pull dynamic as part of the natural rhythm of your relationship. Instead of trying to control or resist it, flow with it, trusting that what's meant to be will unfold in its own time. When she pulls back, don't let it destabilize you. Understand that her need for space is a reflection of her own emotional process, not a rejection of you. Trust that if the connection is real, she'll come back when she's ready, and your calm, steady presence will make her feel even more secure. This is the essence of Stoic love, providing a safe harbor without demanding immediate answers or forcing vulnerability. In the end, your ability to stay centered, even when she's pushing and pulling, is what will strengthen the bond between you. Be the calm, steady force she can rely on, not just when things are easy, but when the emotional tides shift. That's the kind of presence that turns a fleeting romance into a lasting partnership. And when she does return, she'll come back, not because you chased her, but because she felt your unwavering strength and realized that she's found something rare, a love that's rooted in patience, respect, and the power of an unconquerable mind. Number 6, fear of losing independence. For many women, love is both a beautiful experience and a daunting one. The closer they get to you, the more they feel a need to protect their own sense of self. It's a paradox that can leave you feeling ignored when, in reality, she's just trying to hold on to her freedom. Let's unpack this. Imagine a woman who spent years building her own life, her career, her hobbies, her circle of friends. She's used to calling the shots, setting her own schedule, and making decisions without consulting anyone. Falling in love with you might be exhilarating for her, but it also stirs up a hidden fear, the fear of becoming dependent or losing her autonomy. It's not that she loves you less. It's that the depth of her feelings for you makes her instinctively crave space. Ignoring you, pulling back, it's her way of creating a buffer to reassure herself that she hasn't lost control of her life. Think about a time when she was all in, sending sweet messages, making plans, and showing you affection. But then, seemingly out of nowhere, she became distant. Perhaps she stopped texting as frequently or seemed less eager to make plans. It's easy to interpret this change as a sign that her feelings have faded, but in reality, she might be grappling with a loss of her own independence. For instance, if she's used to spending her weekends alone or with friends, and suddenly she's spending all her time with you, it can feel like her life is shifting too quickly. Her ignoring you isn't about pushing you away. It's about pulling herself back together. Seneca once said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." The same principle applies here. Instead of reacting with insecurity or trying to close the gap immediately, consider this a valuable opportunity to practice patience and self-control. Give her the space she needs without resentment. This isn't about playing games or creating distance on purpose. It's about respecting her need for autonomy and showing her that you are secure in yourself. A Stoic approach means focusing on what you can control, your own response and your own growth, rather than trying to control her actions. When she pulls back, the worst thing you can do is chase her frantically or bombard her with questions like, "Why are you ignoring me?" Instead, take a deep breath and embrace the moment for what it is, a chance to nurture your own individuality. Spend time doing things you love, reconnect with your own friends, and focus on your personal goals. This doesn't mean you care any less about her. It simply shows that you value your own independence as much as she values hers. When she sees that you're not panicking or demanding her attention, it will only strengthen her trust in you. By giving her the room to maintain her independence, you allow the relationship to breathe and evolve naturally. This way, when she does come back, it's not out of obligation, but out of genuine desire and appreciation for the space you've given her. While she takes her time to reconnect with herself, use this period to dive deeper into your own passions. Whether it's hitting the gym, working on a personal project, or spending time with your friends, show her that you also have a full and fulfilling life outside of the relationship. When she sees that you're thriving independently, it reassures her that she can have both love and freedom without sacrificing one for the other. The next time she seems distant, don't jump to conclusions or let fear drive your actions. Understand that her ignoring you might be her way of preserving a piece of herself. Respect that, give her space, and use this time to focus on your own growth. By doing so, you not only honor her need for independence, but also reinforce your own self-worth. And that's the kind of confidence that will bring her back, not because she needs you, but because she chooses you, knowing that you're someone who understands the delicate dance of love and freedom. Before we dive into the next reason why she might be pulling away, let me pause here to ask for your support. If you're finding value in this content so far, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and reach more people who might need this message. Also, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever experienced a moment when giving space actually brought you closer? Share your stories in the comments, or simply type, "Patience is my strength," if you're ready to embrace a Stoic approach in your relationships. Your engagement means a lot. Number 7. Struggling with inner battles. Sometimes, the person you care about the most is fighting a storm you can't see. Her distance, her ignoring you, isn't about a lack of love. It's about her own struggle to stay afloat while dealing with personal challenges that she may not be ready to share. This isn't rejection, it's survival. We often assume that love means constant communication and sharing everything. But for many people, especially when they're facing personal issues like stress, family problems, or deep-rooted self-doubt, silence becomes a shield. It's her way of protecting you from her own chaos, or simply a coping mechanism to sort through her thoughts without the added pressure of explaining herself. Think of a time when she was completely engaged, always checking in with you, making plans, and showing you affection. Then, out of nowhere, she seems to pull back. Maybe she's dealing with a stressful situation at work, or there's tension in her family that she's struggling to handle. Perhaps she's wrestling with her own self-esteem, or dealing with anxiety that makes it hard for her to connect emotionally. In moments like these, her mind is like a battlefield, and the last thing she can handle is the added responsibility of reassuring you when she's struggling to reassure herself. Let's say she's going through a rough patch and isn't as present in the relationship as she used to be. Instead of pulling away yourself out of frustration, lean into your own growth. Maybe you start a new project, hit the gym more often, or spend time with friends you haven't seen in a while. This isn't about ignoring her or pretending you don't care. It's about maintaining your own life and happiness, so that when she's ready to come back, you're not drained or resentful. You're still the strong, supportive partner she fell in love with. Seneca once said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." The stories you tell yourself about her silence, "she's losing interest," or "she's pushing me away on purpose," are likely far worse than the reality of what she's going through. The truth is, she might be overwhelmed, anxious, or simply needing time to sort through her own feelings. Your role isn't to fix her problems or demand explanations. It's to offer quiet support and understanding, trusting that she'll come back when she's ready. Every relationship goes through phases of closeness and distance. The key is not to panic when things aren't perfect. Instead, lean on the Stoic principle of acceptance. Marcus Aurelius advised us to accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs. Accept this temporary distance as a part of the natural ebb and flow of your relationship. Use it as a chance to practice patience, empathy, and emotional maturity. The next time she pulls back, don't let it destabilize you. Understand that her silence might be a sign that she's battling something bigger than you can see. Trust that the love between you isn't so fragile that it can be broken by a few moments of distance. When you approach her silence with the calm, steady strength of a Stoic, you not only give her the space she needs to heal, but you also show her that your love is a safe harbor, one that isn't shaken by the passing storm. This kind of unwavering support, grounded in inner strength and understanding, is what creates a lasting bond. So, when her personal challenges pull her away, don't chase her in a panic. Stand firm, be patient, and focus on your own growth. If she truly values you, she'll return, not because she's obligated to, but because she feels the calm, safe presence you've built together. And that's a love that endures beyond any storm. Number 8. The fear of losing control. For someone who's used to being in charge of their own feelings, falling in love can feel like stepping into a powerful current that's pulling them in deeper than they expected. It's thrilling, yes, but it can also be terrifying. When she feels overwhelmed by her emotions, she might instinctively retreat, ignoring you not because she doesn't care, but because she's trying to regain her emotional equilibrium. Let's consider why she might feel the need to ignore you in the first place. If she's someone who values control and self-sufficiency, intense feelings can make her feel vulnerable and exposed. She's used to managing her emotions on her own terms, and the depth of her connection with you might feel like it's threatening that sense of control. By ignoring you, she's creating a buffer, a momentary escape to process her feelings without the added pressure of your expectations or the intensity of the relationship. The worst thing you can do when she pulls back is to react out of fear or insecurity. If you start chasing her, demanding to know what's wrong, you might inadvertently reinforce her fear that she's losing control of the situation. Instead, take a step back yourself. Give her the space she's seeking, and focus on maintaining your own sense of peace and self-worth. A calm, reassuring message like, "I noticed you've been a bit quiet. Just wanted you to know I'm here if you need me," can be all it takes to show her that you're supportive without adding pressure. Imagine she's been distant for a few days, and you're tempted to send a series of texts asking if everything is okay. Instead, you choose to respond differently this time. You send her one thoughtful message, then go about your day focusing on your own activities. Whether it's going to the gym, working on a project, or spending time with friends. This not only shows her that you respect her need for space, but also demonstrates your own emotional maturity and stability. You're not letting her momentary distance throw you off balance. In the end, relationships are about navigating the tides of emotion together. There will be moments when her fear of losing control makes her retreat into silence. But this isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a sign that she's grappling with her own feelings, trying to make sense of the intensity of the connection. Your job isn't to chase her or demand answers. It's to stand strong, confident in your own emotional stability. By embodying the Stoic principles of patience, acceptance, and self-control, you show her that you're not easily swayed by her momentary withdrawal. You're the rock she can lean on, the steady force that remains unchanged even when the waves of her emotions crash against you. And when she finally feels balanced enough to open up again, she'll know she has found a partner who isn't afraid of deep connection. A partner who meets her fear with calm, her uncertainty with patience, and her silence with understanding. That's the kind of love that isn't built on fleeting moments or convenience, but on the deep, unshakable foundation of mutual respect and emotional strength. Number 9. The hard truth, a lack of true interest. This is the conversation no one wants to have. The moment you have to face the possibility that her silence, her growing distance, might mean something painful. You've tried to rationalize her behavior, convinced yourself that she's just busy, stressed, or needs space to think. But deep down, there's a nagging feeling that her interest simply isn't what it used to be. It's a bitter pill to swallow, but sometimes her withdrawal is a sign that her feelings have changed, and she's starting to consider other options. As tough as this realization is, it's also an opportunity, a chance for you to step back, take a deep breath, and reassess the relationship with clarity and honesty. It's about recognizing when her actions are telling you a truth her words never will. She might not be as invested as you are anymore. There are many reasons why her interest might dwindle over time. Maybe the initial spark has faded, or she's realized that the relationship isn't fulfilling her needs in the way she expected. Perhaps she's met someone new who's caught her attention, or she's simply not feeling the same emotional connection she once did. Whatever the reason, her behavior starts to change. She responds less frequently, her texts become colder, and she seems less eager to spend time together. It's like she's emotionally drifting away, even if she hasn't said it out loud yet. This is where the wisdom of Stoicism becomes invaluable. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If you allow her disinterest to dominate your thoughts, it will start to chip away at your self-esteem. You might begin to question your worth, wondering what you did wrong or why you weren't enough for her. But the truth is, her changing feelings are not a reflection of your value. People grow, change, and sometimes drift apart. That's a reality of life and relationships. Instead of letting her fading interest color your perception of yourself, use this as a moment to reaffirm your worth. Remind yourself of your values, your strengths, and what you bring to the table. If she's losing interest, it's not because you lack value. It's because the connection isn't aligned anymore. Your dignity lies in recognizing this and choosing to move forward with grace, rather than clinging to something that no longer serves you. By accepting the reality of her disinterest without trying to force things, you demonstrate a deep inner strength. You show that your worth isn't determined by whether someone chooses you or not. It's determined by how you choose to respond, by the standards you hold yourself to, and by the dignity with which you move forward. When you stop clinging to what's slipping away, you free yourself to find a connection that's genuine and mutual. You become the kind of person who doesn't settle for half-hearted interest, but holds out for a love that's real and committed. And that's the kind of love story worth waiting for. One built on shared values, mutual respect, and a deep, unwavering connection. So if her distance is signaling a lack of true interest, accept it for what it is. Move forward with dignity, knowing that you deserve someone who's just as invested as you are. And trust that by letting go, you're making room for something far more aligned with the kind of relationship you truly want. We've covered a lot today, and I know it wasn't easy to hear some of this. But remember, these insights are here to help you see your relationships clearly and make choices that honor your self-worth. Stoicism teaches us that we can't control others, but we can control how we respond. So here's my challenge for you. If you found yourself in any of these situations, take a step back and focus on your own growth. Drop an affirmation in the comments, "I stand strong," to declare that you're prioritizing your own well-being. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button. Share it with someone who might need to hear these insights. And don't forget to subscribe for more empowering content. Remember, you deserve someone who values you just as much as you value them. Stay strong, stay stoic, and I'll see you in the next video.